Did you know that 3 billion Kinder Surprise eggs are sold worldwide every year? That's over 8 million eggs consumed daily, making it one of the most beloved chocolate treats on the planet. In today's video, we're going to show you exactly how these chocolate eggs with toys inside are manufactured, from the specially formulated 2-layer chocolate shell to the precision engineering that places the surprise capsule without breaking the delicate chocolate. You're about to see why this isn't just candy production. It's an incredible feat of modern manufacturing. In 1974, Michele Ferrero stood in his Italian factory contemplating a centuries-old tradition. All around Italy, children eagerly awaited Easter for a special treat: hollow chocolate eggs containing small gifts. Ferrero watched as children's faces lit up upon discovering the hidden treasures, and a revolutionary question formed in his mind. Why limit this joy to just one season? The Italian Easter tradition dated back generations. Wealthy families would exchange ornate eggs with surprises nestled inside, symbolizing rebirth and new beginnings. Over time, chocolate versions of these ceremonial eggs became popular, especially for children. Ferrero recognized the potential in this cultural practice, but transforming a seasonal novelty into a year-round product posed significant challenges. The initial manufacturing hurdles were substantial. Engineers struggled with the fundamental question: how could they mass-produce an egg-shaped chocolate shell, thin enough to be enjoyable, yet sturdy enough to protect a toy inside? Early prototypes yielded disappointing results. Some shells were too thick and unappetizing, while thinner versions cracked during production or shipping. Toys would shift inside, creating pressure points that compromised the chocolate's integrity. Ferrero's team experimented with numerous chocolate formulations over months of trial and error. The breakthrough came not with a single layer, but with 2 distinct chocolate layers: milk chocolate on the outside and a white chocolate layer on the inside. This dual-layer approach created a distinctive taste experience while providing structural reinforcement. The engineering innovation solved multiple problems at once and created a signature product characteristic that competitors couldn't easily duplicate. The manufacturing process required custom-designed equipment, unlike anything used in traditional chocolate production. Standard chocolate molding techniques couldn't accommodate the precise temperature controls needed for the 2-layer system, or the delicate process of inserting the toy capsules. Ferrero's engineering team developed specialized rotating molds that evenly distributed chocolate along the inner surfaces while maintaining the distinctive egg shape. When the first Kinder Surprise eggs reached store shelves in the mid-1970s, Ferrero had modest sales expectations. The company initially targeted just a few European markets close to home. However, the response exceeded all projections. Children were captivated by the combination of chocolate and toy, while parents appreciated the portion control the single egg format provided. Retailers valued the product's year-round appeal, breaking the seasonal chocolate cycle that limited sales. By the late 1970s, demand had grown so significantly that Ferrero needed to expand production capabilities. The manufacturing complexity meant that new production facilities required substantial investment and specialized knowledge. Throughout the early 1980s, additional factories opened across Europe, each employing hundreds of workers to keep up with growing international demand. The supply chain expanded accordingly, with dedicated facilities for chocolate production, toy manufacturing, and final assembly. The cultural impact spread beyond Europe. Each new market required adaptations to local tastes and regulatory requirements, particularly regarding toy safety. What began as an Italian innovation became a global phenomenon, translated across cultures while maintaining its core appeal. Ferrero had effectively created not just a product, but an entirely new category in the confectionery industry: the chocolate with toy concept that competitors would later attempt to replicate. Marketing strategies evolved alongside manufacturing capabilities. As production volume increased, Ferrero introduced collectible toy series that encouraged repeat purchases. Limited editions, themed collections, and tie-ins with popular characters further expanded the product's appeal across age groups and geographies. The simple joy of discovery, cracking open the egg to reveal the surprise, remained constant throughout these expansions. Behind that satisfying crack of the Kinder shell lies one of food engineering's most elegant solutions. The chocolate that delights millions isn't just a sweet treat, it's a precisely engineered structure where 2 distinct layers work together to achieve what a single layer of chocolate never could. This dual-layer approach represents a manufacturing breakthrough that solved the seemingly impossible challenge of creating a shell thin enough for enjoyment, yet strong enough to protect its precious cargo. The manufacturing marvel begins with the careful formulation of each chocolate layer. The outer milk chocolate layer contains a specific balance of cocoa, powdered milk, and sugar, calibrated not just for flavor but for structural performance. This isn't ordinary chocolate. It's a building material with delicious properties. The milk chocolate provides the primary structure while delivering the balance of cocoa and sweetness that made the Kinder brand famous worldwide. Inside this milk chocolate exterior lies the second engineering element, a white chocolate inner layer made with cocoa butter, powdered milk, and sugar. This inner layer isn't merely for visual contrast or flavor variation. It serves a critical structural function. The white chocolate contributes significant strength to the overall shell while creating a creamier texture and smoother taste experience. Together, these two chocolate types work in harmony like a composite material, each contributing different properties to create something stronger than either could achieve alone. The production process itself is a testament to precision manufacturing. Large rotating containers mix the ingredients at carefully controlled temperatures to ensure homogeneous integration of all components. This mixing stage is critical. Inconsistencies here would compromise both taste and structural integrity. The tempering process that follows involves controlled cooling and heating that stabilizes the cocoa butter crystals, essential for achieving that distinctive glossy finish and firm texture that doesn't easily melt in your hands. When it comes to molding these chocolate shells, precision is everything. The tempered milk chocolate is first poured into oval-shaped molds that are slightly preheated to ensure proper flow and adhesion. Then comes the ingenious part. The molds rotate to distribute the chocolate evenly along the inner surfaces. This rotation technology, specifically developed for Kinder eggs, guarantees consistent thickness throughout the entire shell, a critical factor in both structural integrity and eating experience. After the first layer sets, white chocolate is poured into the same molds, creating that distinctive inner layer. The timing between these applications is precisely controlled to ensure proper adhesion between layers while maintaining their distinct properties. The molds then pass through cooling tunnels where the temperature is meticulously regulated. If the cooling happens too quickly, the chocolate becomes brittle. Too slowly, and it won't set properly. This balancing act in temperature management ensures the final 2 mm thick shell achieves the perfect combination of strength and texture. Specialized dosing nozzles control the exact amount of chocolate flowing into each mold, eliminating waste and ensuring consistency. Quality control systems verify shell thickness at multiple points, and eggs that don't meet the strict parameters are rejected before they ever reach packaging. This attention to detail explains how these seemingly delicate chocolate eggs can withstand the rigors of packaging, shipping, and handling without compromising the surprise inside. The manufacturing process represents a remarkable fusion of food science and structural engineering. What appears to be a simple chocolate shell actually embodies decades of refinement in manufacturing techniques. The balance achieved between taste and functionality demonstrates why the Kinder Surprise has remained successful while competitors have struggled to replicate its unique qualities. The precision-engineered chocolate shell is impressive, but the tiny surprise within presents an entirely different manufacturing challenge. These miniature toys must pass safety regulations in dozens of countries while being small enough to fit inside a plastic capsule, yet complex enough to keep children coming back for more, all while being produced at a rate of over 1,000 units per hour. This sophisticated operation begins long before any toy reaches a child's hands. The journey of each Kinder toy starts in design studios where creative teams initiate work up to 18 months before the product ever hits shelves. This extended development timeline allows designers to meticulously craft concepts that align with upcoming themes, seasonal events, or popular licensed characters. During this critical planning phase, designers must navigate the fundamental tension at the heart of every Kinder toy, creating something intricate enough to captivate a child's imagination, yet simple enough to fit within a 3-centimeter capsule. What might seem like a simple plastic figurine actually represents months of refinement. Designers must consider not only the aesthetic appeal, but also the structural integrity of each component. The toys must be engineered to withstand the entire manufacturing process, from production and assembly to packaging and transportation, while remaining easy for small hands to manipulate once the egg is opened. Safety stands as the paramount concern throughout development. Every toy prototype undergoes an exhaustive battery of tests that would impress even the most stringent quality control experts. Drop tests ensure durability, compression tests verify structural integrity, and small parts analyses confirm that no component poses a choking hazard. Additionally, engineers examine each toy for potential sharp edges or points that could cause injury. This rigorous testing regime isn't merely a formality. It's a critical process ensuring compliance with varying international safety standards across Ferrero's global markets. Running parallel to toy development is the production of the instantly recognizable yellow plastic capsules. These containers might seem simple, but they're manufactured to exacting specifications. The capsules must close securely enough to protect their contents through the tumult of production, yet remain easy enough for children to open. The precision tolerances built into these capsules ensure they maintain their integrity throughout the entire production process, from assembly line to store shelf. Once toys and capsules are ready, they enter a remarkably efficient assembly operation. Advanced automated systems place individual toy components into each capsule at astonishing speeds, often exceeding 1,000 units per hour. This high-volume production requires flawless synchronization across multiple mechanical systems. Quality assurance never takes a backseat despite this rapid pace. Sophisticated computer vision technology scans each capsule before sealing, verifying it contains all required components. These systems can detect missing parts, incorrect assemblies, or foreign objects in milliseconds, automatically rejecting any capsule that fails inspection. The strategy behind toy design extends beyond mere manufacturing considerations. Ferrero's designers deliberately create collectible series featuring complementary pieces that encourage children to acquire multiple eggs. This approach transforms a simple chocolate treat into an ongoing experience, with limited editions and rare toys sometimes becoming valuable collector's items decades after their initial release. Some vintage Kinder toys now command prices that would astonish the original designers, having transformed from simple playthings into sought-after collectibles. Throughout this entire process, the toy production line operates completely separately from the chocolate manufacturing until the final integration stage. These two distinct manufacturing streams, one focused on food production, the other on toy creation, must synchronize perfectly at the moment of assembly. This coordination represents one of the most impressive aspects of Kinder Surprise production, requiring precise timing and communication between systems that would normally never interact in typical manufacturing environments. The moment when two separate manufacturing worlds collide happens at a breathtaking scale, 1.5 million times daily in modern Kinder Surprise factories. This critical juncture represents the pinnacle of precision engineering, where food-grade chocolate production seamlessly integrates with toy manufacturing in a fraction of a second that allows virtually no margin for error. The integration begins when each chocolate half-shell arrives at the assembly station, having completed its journey through the chocolate production line. Here, specialized machines equipped with pneumatic systems take center stage. These systems utilize soft grippers specifically engineered to handle the delicate chocolate shells without causing fractures or deformation. The grippers must apply just enough pressure to secure the shells during movement, without compromising their structural integrity, a delicate balance that required years of engineering refinement. Temperature control at this stage becomes absolutely critical. Thermal cameras continuously scan the chocolate half-shells as they approach the integration point, feeding real-time temperature data to the control systems. The chocolate must maintain a precise temperature window, cold enough to hold its shape, but warm enough to create a proper bond when the halves meet. If the temperature falls even slightly outside the optimal range, the entire process risks failure. Too cold and the halves won't properly adhere. Too warm and the chocolate will deform or melt upon contact with the handling equipment. As the first chocolate half waits in position, a separate line delivers the toy capsule. Placement robots position the capsule with sub-millimeter accuracy into the waiting chocolate half shell. The positioning must be perfect, not just centered within the egg's cavity, but also oriented correctly to ensure proper weight distribution in the finished product. Any misalignment would be immediately detected by the quality control systems that follow. With the capsule perfectly positioned, the second chocolate half approaches. Here comes another critical moment: the application of a thin, precisely warmed chocolate layer around the joining edge that serves as a natural adhesive. This chocolate glue creates the nearly invisible seam that makes the finished product appear as a seamless whole. The temperature of this bonding chocolate must be controlled with extraordinary precision to ensure it flows correctly without damaging the shells it connects. The two halves finally come together in a perfectly choreographed motion, with pressure applied evenly around the circumference to create a secure bond without cracking the delicate shells. This joining process happens in milliseconds, yet it represents the culmination of decades of manufacturing innovation. The precision required is astounding. Alignment tolerances are measured in fractions of a millimeter, despite the high-speed production environment. Immediately following assembly, high-speed cameras inspect each egg from multiple angles, verifying proper alignment and sealing. These sophisticated vision systems can detect imperfections invisible to the human eye, microscopic gaps in the seam, slight misalignments, or imperfect chocolate distribution. The technology behind these inspection systems has improved dramatically since the early days of Kinder Surprise production, allowing for quality control at speeds that would have been unimaginable in the 1970s. The rejection rate at this critical juncture speaks volumes about the manufacturing precision achieved. Less than 0.5% of eggs fail the quality inspection. Any eggs that don't meet the stringent quality standards are immediately removed from the production line and recycled, ensuring that only perfect products continue to packaging. Even with this impressive success rate, when producing 1.5 million eggs daily, those fractions of a percentage point still represent thousands of units that must be reprocessed. What makes this integration particularly remarkable is that it represents the convergence of two entirely different manufacturing disciplines, each with its own regulatory frameworks and technical requirements. Food production demands strict hygiene protocols, temperature control, and ingredient safety. Toy manufacturing focuses on mechanical precision, safety testing, and assembly accuracy. These two worlds, which would normally never intersect in manufacturing, must work in perfect harmony during Kinder Surprise production. While the chocolate and toy manufacturing challenges push engineering boundaries, navigating the global regulatory landscape represents an entirely different kind of challenge for Ferrero. The brilliant concept that delighted children across Europe ran headlong into an unexpected obstacle when attempting to cross the Atlantic: a decades-old American law that effectively classified Kinder Surprise eggs as contraband. The 1938 U.S. Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act contained a provision that would shape Kinder's global strategy for generations. This law explicitly prohibited embedding non-nutritive objects within confectionery products, a safety measure intended to prevent children from accidentally swallowing foreign objects hidden in their food. This seemingly reasonable regulation created an insurmountable barrier for Kinder Surprise's fundamental design, where the toy capsule sits entirely encased within the chocolate shell. The enforcement of this regulation wasn't merely theoretical. U.S. customs officials maintained vigilant watch at border crossings, confiscating thousands of the chocolate eggs each year from unsuspecting travelers. The penalties for attempting to import these treats went far beyond a simple confiscation. Individuals could face fines of up to $2,500 per egg. This astronomical figure transformed what many travelers saw as an innocent souvenir into a potentially expensive legal violation. This prohibition created a peculiar situation where a product enjoyed safely by millions of children worldwide was treated with the seriousness of contraband in the United States. Parents who had grown up enjoying Kinder Surprise eggs in Europe couldn't legally share this childhood experience with their American children, creating a curious cultural divide centered around a chocolate egg. Faced with this regulatory reality, Ferrero demonstrated remarkable adaptability. Rather than abandoning the lucrative American market, the company developed an entirely new product variant, Kinder Joy. This ingenious redesign maintained the core concept of combining chocolate and toy while complying with U.S. regulations by physically separating the components. The plastic egg contained chocolate cream and wafer balls in one half, and the toy in a sealed separate compartment, eliminating any chance of the non-edible portion being embedded within the food. The regulatory challenge didn't end at the U.S. border. Each country where Kinder products are sold maintains its own set of regulations regarding chocolate production, toy safety, and warning labels. In some markets, specific age recommendations must appear prominently on packaging. Others require detailed certification of toy materials and construction. This global patchwork of regulations necessitates careful adaptation of manufacturing processes, packaging designs, and quality control procedures for each target market. For Ferrero's manufacturing operations, this regulatory complexity adds significant layers to production planning. Country-specific quality assurance checkpoints must be integrated throughout the manufacturing process. Products destined for different markets often require unique packaging lines with specialized labeling equipment to ensure compliance with local requirements. What begins as a standardized production process branches into multiple variants to satisfy this regulatory mosaic. The breakthrough for American Kinder fans finally came in 2017, when Ferrero introduced a U.S. legal version of Kinder Surprise. This redesigned product featured a visible separation between the chocolate and toy compartments, technically satisfying the requirements of the 1938 law while preserving more of the original experience. This adaptation represented years of engineering and legal work to find a solution that satisfied both regulatory requirements and consumer expectations. The story of Kinder's global expansion illustrates a fascinating aspect of modern manufacturing: the ability to maintain a consistent brand identity while adapting production to vastly different regulatory environments. What appears on store shelves as a simple chocolate treat represents thousands of hours of regulatory analysis, manufacturing adaptation, and quality control refinement. As we come to the end of our journey through the Kinder Surprise manufacturing process, it's worth reflecting on what this iconic treat represents beyond its components. The Kinder Surprise has transcended its status as a simple confection to become a cultural touchstone that represents creativity, tradition, and the universal joy of discovery. While the factories continue to evolve with new technologies and automation, the fundamental concept remains brilliantly unchanged. That moment of anticipation as you peel away the foil, crack open the chocolate shell, and reveal what lies inside. The engineering precision behind each egg is remarkable, but ultimately, it's the simple pleasure of surprise that has captivated generations worldwide.